Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl and welcome back to Yarn on the Beach. This is episode 129 and we're here live waiting for the sunrise over the buildings and the trees to the east, and this is the Gulf of Mexico behind me. I am at Vanderbilt Beach this morning, and it's very unusual here today. I'm going to show you. It's getting a little bit better now, but the sky at the horizon line is so close in color to the color of the water that I am even with my eyes, not just with the camera, having a hard time seeing the horizon line. It's so unusual. So between the colors being similar and then the reflection of the sky on the water, it's getting a little bit better right now, but when I first got here, I truly could not see the horizon line, which is pretty and weird all at the same time. If you're joining me live, please say hello. Let me know if you're crafting this morning or where you're from, or let me know, ask me any questions you have, whatever you feel like sharing or talking about. If you end up watching the recorded version, please also feel welcome to say hello. I reply to all of those comments as well. Lisa, thank you. This is a new Amazon find. It is a cotton-ish maxi dress with a little bit of stretch to it that's off the shoulder with a ruffled top. It has an elastic waistband, it has pockets, it has side slits, and it's a little on the longer side, not quite full length. I'm 5'9" and it is not full length on me. Let's see if I'm backed up far enough. The one thing is the pockets make me feel a little bit hippie, so if I wear it all the way down, I don't like the way the pockets fit on me, so if I move the elastic waistband up just below my bust, I feel more comfortable, and it puts the pockets up in my belly area, not my hips, and I feel like that looks better on me. But depending on how much hip you have, you might be more comfortable wearing it lower or higher. I just felt like that was a good little trick for me, somebody who does have wide hips. This maxi is perfect, Raina. It is so pretty on. It is so comfortable on. I truly feel like I am wearing a nightgown, but look like I'm not wearing a nightgown. So that's always something that I love. And I don't usually go for things that go off the shoulder or with this ruffle, because I always feel like it's gonna make me look like this, but it works. And I think it also helps to wear a bigger necklace over the top to break up this wideness across the top. So I'm wearing my crystal chain necklace in Be So Fine yarn, color Caribbean turquoise with crystal beads in it. It is a pattern, video, and yarn and bead kit on my website. You can find it by the name Crystal Chain Necklace. If anybody has any questions, oh, and this is also, you can see this dress in my Amazon shop. I bought size large. Thank you, Lisa. Jane's yarn is on the way. Wonderful. I am still working on my nesting baskets. I'm working on the smallest size. This is Be So Tender yarn in color Cobalt. It's an electric blue and it is so beautiful. I love it. And I'm working in Mistake Rib, which is on one round you do knit one, purl one, and on the next round you knit a round. Thanks, Elizabeth. This isn't a French braid at all. I just took a chunk and braided it and put a bobby pin behind my ear. Thanks, Brenda. Oh, the dress is navy blue. I can't remember what all colors it comes in, but it wasn't very expensive, and now that I've tried it on and love it, I will probably end up buying all the colors it comes in. That's the way I do things. If something ends up working really well for me and I love it, I end up buying it in multiple colors, as you are well aware of. Hi, Aranita. Hi, Sarah May. I've missed a bunch of names this morning. I'm so sorry. Terry's making the birch lace vest. Karen agrees with me. Hi, Laren. Yeah, there's so many choices out there, and we all have such unique body styles that I think when you find something that works for you, you got to go with it. Beatrice likes the color combination, the contrast color. Thanks, Lisa. I bought some simple hair accessories yesterday, like some little barrettes. I think I'm going to make some more handmade flowers for hair accessories. Lisa's finishing her boho bag. That's cool. Let's see, did I go too far? I did. I don't have a stitch marker in this and I could really use one, but I didn't bring one. Let's see if I have something that could double as a stitch marker in my bag. Sometimes you just need a contrast color of yarn. Just anything you can clip on there. Even if I had an extra bobby pin in my bag, that would be perfect. Anything will work. Here, I'll grab a piece of white yarn. There we go. Make a little slip knot like that, and voila, I have a stitch marker. I put that right on my needle. And there we go. As long as I remember not to knit it, it'll work just fine. Oh, and I went one stitch too far. There's a knit one, purl one round, and I put the stitch marker after the first knit one instead of putting it after the last purl stitch. Okay, so now I can do, here we go. Okay, ready to go now. Hi Terry, hi Melissa, thanks for joining live. Glad you guys can see this unusual color scheme this morning. It's so pretty. Hopefully it's translating on camera well. I know some days the colors show up pretty true to color and some days they don't. Karen's working on socks. Beatrice is wondering about Faye. I believe I saw Faye this morning. Am I wrong? Did I pretend to see Faye's name? Hi Elizabeth, hi Freezabee. Raina hears a bird. There is construction behind me too. I'm at, if you want it, here's Faye. I knew I saw your name. Look at the massive construction going on at the Ritz-Carlton. They actually closed the hotel down for this construction. That is so massive. It almost looks like new construction, especially on the second building on the right. Can you see how exposed that is? Pretty unbelievable. So here's the beach to the south of us. You can see it's extremely quiet, and the fireball in the sky has not quite come up past the buildings and the trees yet. Here's the beach to the north of us, also extremely quiet this morning. You can see the trucks have come by and cleaned up the beach. And back to the beautiful Gulf of Mexico, and of course Dolly the Wonder Wagon, the one and only. There are a few little birds, but I'm not sure what someone might have heard as a chirping bird. I fear that it might have been the construction sounds. Oh, KB got a dolly wagon too. You got the red one. Cool. They had several colors if I remember correctly. Yes, Sherry, it is like my own private beach. It very much is. Although I met somebody here this morning. A nice man walked by and chatted with me for a few minutes. I always meet nice people down here. It's pouring in Central Florida. Oh dear. Hi Nikki, thanks for joining live. Hi Audrey, working on a prayer shawl. That's a wonderful idea. Putting all your love and attention into every stitch is a very powerful intention. That's wonderful. Couple people in Central Florida, possibly all in the rain. Overcast in Ohio. It is warm here. I think the humidity has gone up in the last week or so because I have been more warm than usual down here in the morning. Considering it's not even 8 a.m. and to be seriously sweating down at the beach tells me that the humidity must have gone up this week, as it's been extremely hot. The colors look like Shushugi Bond this morning. That's awesome. Humidity is tough, KB, especially when it gets really high like this week. I mean, to be completely soaking wet by 8 a.m. and knowing that you have the full day to go, I find that to be tough. It's one thing if you're exercising and you're expecting it, but to just sit on the beach and talk to all of you and leave the beach a hot, sweaty mess is not a great way to start the day. I don't think so anyway. You know, with makeup and hair product and nice clothes, it's just not the way I like to be sweaty. Hi Bambi, thanks for joining live. Hi Letty, thanks for joining live. Lots of familiar names here today. Wow, this goes a lot quicker with stitch marker. The water's much clearer today too, so I do feel like red tide could possibly be getting better. Kat, it's winter for you, so you must be in the southern hemisphere somewhere. I don't remember where you live. Yes, Terry, it's extremely calm and peaceful here this morning. The colors are exceptionally peaceful. I was going to talk about colors today. What was I going to say about colors? Oh, I think we were still talking about the fact that there's such a disconnect between making things and enjoying wearing the things that we make. And that comes from so many different components, like we've talked before, like starting with gauge and making sure that you make something the exact way the pattern says to make it. That's the start. Then also recognizing whether or not from a photo, if that style is going to translate well to your size. And then also from the photo and the styling of the photo, is that necessarily going to look on you in your coloring, your shape, your size, your style aesthetic compared to what you see in that photo. So that alone is a huge component in figuring out what patterns to choose for yourself. And, you know, in a perfect world, you would see either you would see the patterns modeled on someone your size, your shape, your coloring with your style aesthetic, right? But that's not the case. So we have to be really diligent about looking at the right details and thinking logically, not emotionally, about whether or not something's going to work for us. And that's really tough to do, because when we're shopping for fashion or for craft and creativity, we're thinking emotionally. So it's something that's hard to add to the list of things to consider when you're choosing a knitting or crochet pattern, but it is something that if you do consider it, it allows you to have a higher success rate when you're finished making it and hopefully wearing it. The next component is looking past the color that the model is wearing and deciding whether or not that color is going to work for you. And some of us are better at figuring out what colors work for us. Some of us are not. And sometimes, especially because we're working on a craft, you're thinking about what color yarn you want to play with and what color yarn you want to be creative with, and not necessarily thinking about it in terms of what color of a finished product, what color of a finished product you're going to want to wear. I guess there's a side conversation going on. Sorry about that. I think I've missed something. Someone shared something sad, but I'm sorry to hear that, but I have missed it. So I'll just keep talking about the color stuff. Yeah, so to go back to what I was just finished saying, when you're shopping for yarn for a project, it's very easy to get caught up on what color you're drawn to because you're being creative. And what we think of as far as color for being creative isn't necessarily the colors that we're going to think of for wearing. So it's something else to consider. Then, if you are unsure what colors work for you, the first place to look is in your closet, because what you already own and wear is probably a good sample of the colors that work for you. And if you think that your colors are not right there, the next thing I would suggest is to get a color analysis done, which is where you can get somebody to tell you if you're a winter, a summer, a spring, or a fall. Because once you understand which season of colors you are, it's extremely helpful in choosing colors for you. Like, for example, I never had the analysis done, but I feel pretty confident that I know which half of the spectrum I am. I'm either a summer or a winter. I'm definitely not a spring or a fall. A spring would be very pastel colors, and a fall would be autumn colors. So warm versus cool is a break for you. Yes, Raina, that's like me. So I prefer cool colors, meaning winter and summer. Summer is really bright neon-y colors, and winter is more jewel tones, and then spring is more pastel and pale colors, and fall is more warm tones, like the colors of changing leaves. So that's probably the most basic way I can explain it to you. And sometimes you can just tell by what your emotional reaction is to hearing about those four. Right? I know when I even just start talking about those four categories, I have an emotional reaction. When I hear fall, I have a negative reaction because I really don't like it. And that's only because I know it doesn't work for me. Laren says lavenders are pretty on many people. I think that raspberry is a color that's usually like a deeper violet pink, like red, pink, violet, somewhere in that range. I think that's something that's really pretty on most people too. Yeah, fuchsia I think is one of the colors that looks good on everybody. That's my opinion. I think that's why when makeup companies give away free lipsticks, you always end up being in the pink or raspberry color, or color family. So I don't know where you can go to get your color analysis done, but I know there's a ton of information on it online, and you can actually start there and do your own research, but then there are places where you can actually get a color analysis done. Red is amazing, and that's a great color to bring up, Beatrice, because there are different reds that work for different people, and it is usually based on which color family, which one of those color seasons you are. So let's say you're a fall red, you're going to like colors that are brick red and colors that have a brown base to them. If you are a summer red, you might like something that has an orange base. If you're, see, mine might be getting this wrong. So let's not even categorize them, other than I know that the brown red would be the one for fall, so it'd be a brick red, but then there's an orange red, there's a blue red, and a pink red, and so depending on where you fall in those seasons, and I think some of us are probably a combination of seasons, like I think I'm a winter summer, there are going to be different reds that work for you and different reds that don't work for you. I don't like the orange red. Occasionally I will make an exception when there's a coral that has a pop of red in it, but I'm very picky about coral and orange and red that goes orange, because orange is not a color I love, but when it goes pinker into peaches, then I like it a lot more. Fuchsia can go either way, Moose Gal. Any color can go warmer or cooler based on what bases they have in it. So even a fuchsia can go different ways, because it could be brighter or more muted and pastel. It can go more red, or it can go more purple. And depending on where it goes, or have even some orange in it. So where it goes, it could end up being a color that works for you. I know that doesn't really always help, but in general, and then I also think that fuchsia is more of a neutral color that works on most people. That's why you'll see that most of my yarns I carry in some sort of a berry, because I believe that it is a neutral color that works for most people. So even if someone is struggling on picking a color, I know that I can always suggest raspberry and it will look good on just about anybody. Just like with lipstick and nail polish. Raspberry looks good on everybody. Berry. I think it's a healthy color. You know, like a healthy blush on your skin. Does anybody have any other questions about that? Because we could go on and on, I bet. Oh, Lisa, off-white and cream is another really good example. There are, okay, off-white is a spring fall color, and white is a winter summer color. I like white more than I like off-white. Lisa says she likes off-white better. The other color that's a good way to tell if you like warm or cool is whether you like to wear solid black or gray. And solid black is more of a summer winter color, and gray is more of a spring fall color. I prefer black to gray and white to cream, which is why I feel I would say this is a cool color here. But you're right, Raina, depending on where, I think that this is more of a bright summer color than it is a spring pastel color. But I think you could go either way, and it also could be depending on what you wear it with. So like you could wear a bright pop of color accessory like this with pastel-y colors, and this would be your bright pop of color. Or you could wear it with darker colors and make it your bright pop of color. Does that make sense? So depending on how you accessorize a bright color, it can go either way as well. Because there are no hard and fast rules. It's just kind of like guidelines, and it helps you in picking stuff together. Yes, your hair color makes a difference, Sherry. Your hair color and your coloring has a lot to do with it, which reminds me of something that I wanted to bring up before, and that is when you change your hair color, whether it's on purpose from dyeing it or because you've gone gray or white, and depending on what color gray or white you go, you could very easily change your color palette, which will then change the colors that look good on you. Let's say somebody mentioned they wear a lot of gray in their wardrobe. So when you have, let's say you have a beautiful head of dark raven black hair, and you wear a lot of gray in your wardrobe. And imagine if that person started to go gray and turned a very pale gray hair color. Wearing a full wardrobe of gray is going to completely wash her out, and she would probably need to come up with some contrast colors to balance out this mass of gray hair instead of matching it with her whole wardrobe. So whether you do a drastic color change, let's say you've been a brunette all your life and you're going blonde, or vice versa, you would change things for that as well. Like for a blonde, it's difficult for blondes to wear a lot of light colors because it ends up washing them out too, I think. And it also depends on your skin coloring. So somebody who has pale skin, pale hair, and wears pale clothes could very easily get washed out. And somebody who has dark skin and dark hair and wears all dark clothing could easily get washed out as well. But, I mean, there's so many thousands of things. Will you be putting any fall? Yes, I will be putting fall clothes in my Amazon shop, Jolene. Punks are nuts this morning. Okay, KB is sandy blonde going gray. Those colors are pretty close together, so you probably won't have a huge disparity between the colors you like to wear now and the colors you'll like to wear when you go gray. I think I'm having the same issue. I think that my hair is already going gray, and that's why it's staying light-ish without needing to dye it. So I think that my hair is turning more ash blonde than golden blonde because of the gray coming in. So that's changing my coloring a little bit, but I think it's still subtle. And I have a warm tone skin. I have it's not quite an olive base, but more of a golden base to my skin. So whether I'm pale or have some sun color on my skin, I still have a warm tone skin, which is different than someone that has more of a creamy complexion. Sandra, you went from a chestnut brown to a white, so you changed a lot, and therefore I would say that the colors that you gravitate towards and the colors you like to wear and look good on you have probably changed a lot too. Lisa has dark tan skin. Sherry has an olive tone. Isn't it amazing? There's so many variables. And so I think you'll really find a lot of knowledge from looking up the spring, summer, fall, winter color palettes. And then from there, you know, really paying attention to the color wheel helps too. Thanks, Moose Gal. I'm getting used to my new hair. It's kind of hard learning how to style new hair, but I'm getting there. trying to do some of my old things too, but I'm going to show my basket again. It's not very far along. It's pretty small still. And this is the smallest of the 3 baskets that I'm making. I'm making them each slightly bigger so they can stack together. They won't be like very stiff baskets, but once you fill them, they will stand up. And as far as giving a gift, they'll look beautiful when you nest them together. Oh yeah, Lisa, you've got to look up the color wheel. The color wheel is where you learn everything about color. And then once you learn the color wheel, I can't see, the sun's going right in my eyes. Let's try this way. When the sun goes right in my eyes, I can't see the comments at all either. See if that helps. The screen went dark too. Oh, Raina, the motif bowl is a couple, there were some things that went well and some things that didn't go well, so I'm going to have to make another sample of it. But lots of cool stuff that I'm learning about it, and I wanted to do different variations on it anyway, so it's all good, but it's still in progress. Yeah, tons of info online about colors, and so once you start looking up color wheels, then you can look at what colors coordinate well together, which is really helpful information when you're wanting to pick 2 colors of yarn to go together even. So let's say you're wanting to make a bag or a hat or a sweater or anything with 2 different colors of yarn or 3 different colors of yarn. It's really helpful to understand the different components of the color wheel. There's colors that are complementary when they're opposite the wheel. Then there's colors that are complementary when they're 3 different prongs of the wheel, or even if there's different variations, and you can look that up as well, and it's very helpful for learning how to mix colors together. Does anybody have any other questions? We're almost out of time, so if anybody has any additional questions on this, we're going to save another couple minutes for them. Yes, Kathy, I did see J-Lo perform the other night at the MTV Music Awards. I loved her performance, I loved her speech afterwards, and I loved Madonna's speech at the end too. Before she gave away the final award of the night, she talked about how Aretha Franklin touched her in her career, and I thought it was a really cool story. Might have gone on a little bit for some people's taste, but it was really wonderful to hear how Aretha Franklin inspired her before she became super successful, and I love hearing stories like that. So Jennifer Lopez was amazing, as I thought she would be, but still just awesome. I actually cried through the whole performance because I love all her songs so much. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like Madonna's speech, but I don't care. I thought it was very touching to tell a personal story about how Aretha Franklin touched her life, especially when she was still an up-and-coming starving artist. I just love to hear stories like that about how she didn't give up on herself even when everything was stacked against her. She was truly a starving artist, and her goal was to find enough money to eat at that time. And so to hear that Aretha Franklin was somebody that inspired her so much and gave her hope to keep going, I thought it was very touching. I can't see whose name was. I think maybe Raina said she loves Beyonce like I love J-Lo. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. Melissa thought it was sweet too. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. And J-Lo's speech, oh my goodness, that was amazing. Love the way she tied in with her kids. I have a feeling that her and A-Rod are going to be getting married soon. I think that they're getting super cozy together, and I'm so happy that she's finally found a good man in her life. Makes me really happy for her. He seems so in love with her, and her too. I missed Aerosmith. I saw them in the audience, but I must have missed their performance or what they did on stage. You know, I watch TV while I'm working, so I don't get to watch it very closely. But I saw Aerosmith briefly, but I did not see what they were there for. I love Aerosmith too. Raina, you agree too? Yeah, I really like them together as a couple. I actually follow A-Rod on Instagram now just so I can watch how he gushes about his girlfriend. All right, so I guess we're done with the color talk, so let's take our last minute here and look out at this amazing view. It really has transformed quite a bit today, hasn't it? Definitely gone more into the blue now. There were some peaches and golds and other colors out there this morning, but now it's gone mostly blue. So let's take this last minute to soak in the colors, the sounds of the waves, and set our intentions for the day. Thanks everybody for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the sunrise, the sound of the waves, the beautiful scenery, and how it even changed this morning. Hope you enjoyed chatting with me and everyone else. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye!